Okay, so here we are with Marlena. Thank you. Wonderful to have you here. So, uh, might you just tell me a little bit about what's going on? And I love that you're familiar with the work.
Yeah,
So, do you have a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet or no? You don't have to have one for this work.
I didn't fill it out because that's actually one of the things for me is I have so many self-judgments,
Oh, yes. Right.
and I also am a Course in Miracles student, and so I'm really struggling with between ego and that I am a body,
Yeah.
uh, and that all came up for me particularly last August when I woke up one morning with vertigo and hearing loss in my left ear. The vertigo's gone, but
Mm-hmm.
and I realize now that even before that, I was in quite a state of alarm and anxiety. And I'm certainly resisting being at peace with what's happening.
Sure.
And so I have now increased insomnia, increased anxiety, and I'm doing different works, and I can come out for a while, and then I'm really arguing with reality.
Yeah. Yeah. This is an interesting thing, the body, because it's like there's an experience of having a body here and going when something goes off with it or there's pain, um, tricky and difficult and very powerful for the work. And sometimes we're expecting ourselves to be all the way like, wait, remember, you're not a body, you're not a body, but I like noticing, well, what's the reality? There is a part of the brain that is focused on this body surviving. So, it's
And
active.
I go into overwhelm,
Yeah.
and I go, and then I start not being able to think clearly anymore, and then I start going into I did it wrong. There's something wrong with me. Like
Yes. Yes.
on and on.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought up self-judgment because it's so huge. In fact, many people, even when they first start the work, if they just hear about doing the work in self-inquiry, they so often will say, like, if they're at first night of a retreat, somebody's new, and they'll say, I don't want to work on anyone else. I just want to work on myself. And in a way, there's some sort of wisdom there because it's showing, there's an awareness of it not being the world. The thing is, it's the same energy attacking the self. So it's really the same exact thing. And I like how Katie says, turn your attention out because you could be a little more
Mm-hmm.
clear and specific, instead of so generalized, that it's hard to even question. So you want to do the work on your body on this condition of vertigo? And then,
It'd be more now the tinnitus, and I just have so I have tinnitus
uh-huh.
and kind of chronic inflammation in different areas of my body, and yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and then the insomnia is the other one too. Like it's just,
yeah.
and I've done worksheets on other people, and I definitely understand what you're saying. Is that I get to the same places. It's like, okay, I get the projections. I'm
Yeah.
stuck. I feel stuck on
Yeah.
how to heal how to get at peace to myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Well, I think it's just the mind is used to thinking of like kind of problem and solution and doing a little like aggressive thinking, like making something happen. It's got kind of a assertion to it. So, and it'll get really aggressive sometimes. Well, let's just see with these conditions. It's like you can notice in like insomnia, tendinitis. What was the other one you said?
Well, I actually have interstitial cystitis as well. Like the bladder's inflamed, so I have all these itises.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, itis. Itis is happening.
Inflammation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you just freely went into how do you want all of those to change. We'll just see if we get like these conditions, these itises. How do you want them to change in the most simple way? What would you say?
Well, when I think about them, what happens is I get really tight in my chest, right? Like my stomach and my chest, I can just feel the contraction. I'd like to be at peace with the conditions.
Okay. Yeah.
So that I can, because it's taking more energy resisting them.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm in fear.
Yeah.
I want to get out of fear.
What are you most afraid of when you think about all these conditions?
That I can't take care of myself. And that I'll be abandoned, that I'm alone. And that's a core issue. I'm adopted. I'm self-employed. So I don't like being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Asking for help. And I feel like I need help.
Yeah. So in a way, it's powerful to see if I need help and I'm aware I need help. I find that frightening, you know, like it means I might not get it, or somebody will abandon me, or
there's nobody there who wants to take care of me, or who, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I love noticing that, you know, it starts with the body and then it's kind of like these conditions are happening and it means that it's going down. I can't take care of myself. Nobody wants to help. And I do need help.
I'm a burden.
Yeah. 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 Okay. In a way, the story, it's kind of like, you know, within the work, it's the easiest thing for the mind to kind of have one concept at a time, but we see the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, body has an ailment or many or whatever. Even aging, people will think this, but it's like, I'll need help. And then if I need help, that's a burden. Nobody wants to. I'll be abandoned. It's not safe.
That word comes up for me all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like falls like dominoes over. It's not safe to have this condition or conditions. Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Well, let's take a look and let's just see what happens. I mean, that first question, just see if it's true that it's not safe to have these ailments.
The first answer is yes.
You absolutely know that it's true.
No.
How do you find your no there? Like, what do you see?
Because I know that God's there. I know the truth. I know that it's right there. If I can get out of this, that I'm not a body.
And I notice bodies always have ailments, or like they move into having ailments and they age and then they dissolve, right? And so when it's just looking at like, what's the reality? Oh, that's what happens. And that's where I go to with it. How can I absolutely know? And that isn't safe. Can't know. See what happens. What happens when you think the thought? It's not safe to have these ailments.
I panic. I shut down. I separate. I don't sleep.
Do you have images that come to mind about where it's going?
You just see me in bed alone.
Mm. Mm.
You know, it's not safe. Just see me alone, withdrawn. In despair.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting how it's like whatever's happening now, you see those ailments and fear, just noticing them, and then it gets, I'm doing nothing at all. Like right now I can still, even though I have these itises, I can still be here on this call or get up in the morning and put my clothes on and do all that stuff. It's like it just zooms to I'm in bed and I'm not even getting out of bed.
I'm not functioning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not functional. Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah, just completely shut down.
Okay. And probably also right in there, just like you already mentioned, certainly sounds like that scene, being in bed and then no one else is there, abandoned. Nobody's helping me. I'm all alone. Yeah, even God. Sometimes, you know, like,
I've had to work that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Anything else that happens when you think about just the ailments in this body and how you might treat yourself, or anything else that happens when you're believing this isn't safe?
I'm so stuck in the story. I see also just myself as a baby crying and no one there.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It all got brought up for me last year.
Yeah, yeah. Like the ultimate dependency, a human infant child, you know, literally can't live without another person.
Yeah. And I coped. I look back now and I see I coped as a child by detaching. Now, you know, just disassociation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So a lot of the I do get a lot of the emotions I'm feeling these days are actually releasing stuff that's been in there for a long
All right, good. Yeah. Okay. So who would you be without this thought, this story, that these conditions, having them in this body, isn't safe? If you weren't able to think this isn't safe, isn't that interesting? They're still there.
time. I just feel my whole body. It's like I can breathe. My body stops contracting. It starts opening up. I can feel curiosity.
Mm. Mm.
And the alarm is gone.
Say that again.
The alarm is gone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm more the observer, but I'm at peace. There's some peace.
So just see how you treat God without the thought. It's not safe to have these ailments.
I never thought of that before. I'd be open to letting him in. In the story, there's no room.
Yeah. That's like with the story, God has abandoned me. I just the way I'm seeing it, you know. This can't be God. I'm abandoned. Without that story,
He's right there.
so kind of amazing. But let's turn it around. Like, so these ailments, they aren't, they're safe to have. In fact, they might even be like, you know, when I'm believing not safe, dangerous, whatever's the opposite. These ailments are like
Well, they're safe, yes, but they're
safe.
you know,
Safe to have them.
they're manageable. They don't have to stop me. You know, like they're. It's funny. It's just what crosses my mind. It's like if I wore green clothes, it wouldn't matter. The color green doesn't stop you from doing anything, right? It's like it could be just like that's the color clothes you're wearing that day. They don't have to. Doesn't mean anything.
Love that. And that's kind of in the most simple, practical way. Like, yeah, I just do what I do with the conditions.
Yes. So interesting. It's like, oh, there they are, those green clothes. Okay, right?
Yeah.
Don't like them, but they don't mean anything.
Yeah. I mean, it's so great to just notice what's possible and what I can do and what I still do. I move about my day, I do what I do. And this is interesting, you know, and that scary image you have of just being only in the bed in the future. That's kind of turning up the volume on it, but like, how is that safe? Safe to be in that condition. It's not dangerous.
Not if I'm open to God.
It's nice to notice that nothing's required for being with God. Somebody could be paralyzed and.
So what was that question you asked me? Like how when you asked me about God, how is the condition affecting me with God? Or what was the question?
Yeah, you mean the one just now or a little while ago?
A little while ago, yeah. What question did you ask me?
How would you treat God without the story? This is safe. I mean, yeah, it's just powerful to notice with the thought, this isn't safe. The way you treat God is.
Right, right. What a powerful question.
And so even to see if God is here, I mean, very interesting. And these conditions are apparently here. how do they serve you? I mean, do they have, what's interesting about them? It doesn't mean you have to say, I love them and I hope they stay forever. Although that can be kind of a funny thing to do in our minds, you know, but that's not, it's like, yeah, realistic, but just sort of saying, is there anything interesting about this that's helpful?
It has taken me to a way deeper level of work than I've ever done before. It's actually completely changed who I am and how I see my kids, and it's just it reframed everything.
Isn't that incredible? It's kind of like if you had to pick anything that would do that, this might be the perfect.
Yeah, aren't I lucky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love this thing that Byron Katie says, if this was your path to God, would you take it away? It's kind of like you got the choice. God said, all right, you know what? I will actually take away all these conditions. You have a very healthy body. You'll be fine, but you'll never learn.
That's a good question. No.
Yeah, you go, no, I don't think so. Yeah, isn't that something?
Wow. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So another turnaround. My my thinking is frightening. My thinking is the scary thing. My thinking has an ailment.
Yeah, my thinking has
My perspective,
my thinking feels not safe.
Yeah.
My thinking does have
Thinking itis. Thinking itis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it'll do things like just what the mind does, trying to be of service, I suppose, but it's like showing you laying in bed, able to do nothing else. It's like shows you scary pictures that aren't actually happening yet. It just does that really fast, or shows you pictures of something you've gone through, maybe.
Yeah, well, it's like, what do I focus on? It shows me the pain in my heart or stomach or my ears, right? It focuses on the pains rather than, but I can just as easily, I notice that passes, right? And then I'm back to doing what I'm doing. Like it's not, it comes and goes. And mind just throws all kinds of stuff in.
Yeah. Pain itself is such an interesting thing, that the energy of pain. I love how you just said, like, you notice it's there and then you like the phone rings and I'm just working a little bit pain myself, having an injury, and then like when it really hurt, like when I hurt myself 6 years ago, it's like watching the pain and then noticing the activation of it being like crunched down on it. Oh my god, this has got to go away. Oh, this is so terrible. And then somebody comes to visit, and bring flowers over, and you kind of like totally, how are you, what's going on in your life, and you don't realize that you're not thinking or feeling any pain,
right,
for a little bit. Yeah, it just moves away. It definitely comes and goes. So yeah, powerful. My thinking has an ailment. And it's scaring me. My thinking is frightening, is dangerous. Not those actual ailments. My thinking about them.
Mm-hmm. My thinking about them, exactly.
My thinking about them is dangerous. It is interesting to watch that in this world of like this sort of duality. There's the body, and apparently with bodies, they're born and they're young and they grow, and then they come. If somebody lives whatever a full life is, I mean, it could be a full life if you die when you're 10. It could be a full life if you die when you're 25. But we think like if you do stay alive, you stay alive and remain in the body for a longish period of time, it will actually decline all on just by being alive. Like it's just as if a blossom happens, and then the blossom, just like in nature, petals fall and it'll be done at some point. Amazing to think of that as that's good news. Like we're not just here perceiving the body forever and ever. Like we'll think I want to live forever and ever, and I don't know. It's just funny how the mind is. It's like kind of grips on that, but that it's good that things happen.
Well, and we value certain things and not others, whereas, like you said, they're all parts of these cycles in this paradigm, right? And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The physicality, though, for me, has been taking me to a huge new level that
Yeah.
I couldn't have imagined.
Yeah. Yes. And it's interesting, and with that thought, you were talking about the self-criticisms, and it's like holding the belief, this ailment is these ailments, this itis isn't good. It's bad. I'll be abandoned. And then it just moves right into kind of self-improvement thoughts. Like you need to fix this, you need to do something, what's wrong with you, kind of. So without the thought, without that too, that just relaxes. It's like, if there's nothing required, if it doesn't need to go away, the ailments, then I don't need to attack myself to make myself get something to go away, or, see how I made a mistake or any of those things. They're not a mistake. Yeah. It'll be interesting. I'm sure you've heard of this idea of living a turnaround. If you lived your turnaround, that it's safe, not dangerous, and just take this into your day and into your life. This is actually, it's safe to have these things like, oh, hello, there you are. Tinnitus, bladder, whatever, the thing. It doesn't mean it's supposed to start feeling like comfortable because there's pain is there with a message, but it's if it's safe to have those, and just finding actual examples that it's only in my thinking, only in my mind is there lack of safety, and just to see, even if it's as simple as like there's a chair, there's a couch for me to sit on for a moment, there's air to breathe in the room.
Mm-hmm. And things are, if I'm in the present and I think it is safe to have these, then I realize I am paying my rent, I am working. Pardon me?
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's really, it's like, because sometimes those are the ties to the danger. It's like I'm not surviving here, so I won't have a shelter, and I won't have help, and I won't have.
And I mean, every month so far, I go into future, but that's not the reality.
So good to see. Yeah.
Right? Which is,
Yeah.
yeah, it is safe.
Yeah.
It is safe to have this condition.
Yeah. Might even be, sometimes I have found there's even a service in these conditions helping me learn how to ask other people for help, or ask the world for help, like being in this world and not of the world, but just going ahead and seeing, and some people may say no, like not attached to that answer. And some people say yes, and it's amazing. Yeah.
I have had some of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just working through that it's safe to be vulnerable.
Yes. I love that one. Might even be safer to be vulnerable than invulnerable.
Actually,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I when I get, but I find myself crying all the time. Every time I get vulnerable, and there's someone there, and it's learning to be okay with that, right? Because I can just feel actually that my body, my heart's with me, but it just makes me cry each time. Instead of being tough and the one who does everything for everybody else.
Beautiful privilege to work with you today.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You're one of those things, as I'm having insomnia, that I popped up and I was, okay, I'm going to actually,
I love it.
right, like reach out and
It's a great example. It just like something and then here you are. We aren't alone.
not alone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So appreciate your work.